you seen that lick? It was like Tyrod. You've been in the league long enough. Just hit the ground. Don't let that guy just lay you out. I mean, he got laid out, you know. So my man Tyrod, I thought he had a shot. I don't know what's because he made a capital C out of his backbone. So
give me a C. All right, let's do a little sports of yesteryear. We'll come back and talk about the first NFL game coming up September 8th, just a little bit. We'll get excited about that. But first, we got to do a little sports of yesteryear. We throw it back to Wayback Machine to our man Lugs. He's out in his Chevrolet Nova, I think, tonight, driving around the neighborhood just looking for ice cream trucks. And here he is now.
I'm in a Nomad, actually, but here we go. 1905, Detroit Tigers future Baseball Hall of Famer center field Ty Cobb makes his major league debut, doubling off Jack Chesborough in a 5-3 win over the New York Highlanders. 1939, sixth NFL Chicago All-Star game. The New York Giants by themselves beat the league's All-Stars 9-0. 1972, Olga Korbut's mania at Munich Olympics, but her teammate Ludmila Turashcheva wins the gymnastics individual all-around competition. 1981, Bill Shoemaker becomes the first jock to win $1 million in a thoroughbred horse race when John Henry took the inaugural Arlington Million by a nose over the BART. And finally, listen to this. This week in 2002, Serena Williams won the U.S. Open to add to her victories at the French Open and the Wimbledon, which is a record. Tom Brady was beginning his second year as a starter with the first of his 7 Super Bowl rings. And if that wasn't enough, this week in 2002, high school senior LeBron James graced the cover of Sports Illustrated with the title, The Chosen One. Now that is quite a week in sports of yesteryear.
Woo. All right, Lugs, that's some good stuff there. Okay, I got a question about that All-Star game you talked about. When I was a kid, they played Soldier Field, college All-Stars versus the previous champion of the NFL. And it was crazy. They didn't do it anymore. They don't do it anymore. And there would be 100,000 people at Soldier Field in the old configuration. Wild stuff about this time of year, usually August, I think.
Yeah. I don't remember seeing one of those games, I don't think. But I just remember Ahmad Rashad talking about when he played, he was from Oregon. His name was like Bobby Brown or something, but he changed it to Ahmad.
Bobby Brown.
He said the whole week, Butkus was still playing. He said the whole week, all of them avoided eye contact with Butkus. He said that guy was crazy. And one time they threw it to Ahmad for like some sort of what would now be called a bubble screen to a receiver. And he said he could feel Butkus coming. And he just kind of covered up. And he said Butkus just hit him a lick that he still remembers to this day. So, and he said the thing about Butkus was you could tell he was in absolute pain. So he wanted to hurt somebody.
Infliction. All right. That's good. I love Butkus stories, the old monsters of the Midway. Thursday, September 8th, the Bills will face the Rams on NBC. Now, question for you guys. Will Chris Collinsworth do his famous slide in with his chair like he did for years with Al Michaels? Remember that? There was I think endless memes of that.
He'll have to, won't he?
I don't know. Will Tirico put up with that? What do you think?
Yeah, because Tirico essentially is, he's as vanilla as, he'll go for it. Yeah.
All right, there you go. T-Dog, yeah.
I like that the first game of the season we led off with was Chris Collinsworth and Mike Tirico.
That's all I'm worried about. I want to see that right there. That's what I want to see. This the slide.
I guess I'm just really impressed that obviously you want to start off big, but I mean, I'm not gonna say it will happen, but this is
it's a good game though, isn't it?
This could be a Super Bowl preview.
Right?
I mean, it's just crazy to me. I guess my main thing is I just want to see how Matthew Stafford throws, because obviously there's been worries about his arm. I mean, when they didn't allow their primary backup play in preseason games, that's pretty worrisome.
Yeah.
I mean, I get like you're not playing Matthew Stafford, but you don't even want the primary backup to play. It's like, this
might have been a one and done on the big game, huh?
Yeah, hey, you got to hit the high. That's all that matters. You got to hit the apex. That's all that matters. Yeah, I guess I'm worried about that. And also, I just want to see, Buffalo. They lost Brian Daboll, their offensive coordinator. To see how I believe Ken Dorsey has taken over of University of Miami fame. So he's the offensive coordinator. See if they really change anything. I mean, even if he's not as good as Brian Daboll, I think, Josh Allen has ascended to that spot that even if it does fall off a little bit, it's still
he'll make up.
You go from maybe 1 to 2 to 3, like it'll stay in that range. So yeah, I'm just really excited to see like two of the obviously Bills are probably the favorite to win the AFC or one of the top 3. I would assume the Rams are in the top 3. I'm not going to say they're the number 1 choice, but they're definitely up there. But yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game. I'm looking forward to it. What about you, Lugs?
Hey, NFL, they know how to market, baby. You kick off the season with this game. I mean, it's good stuff. They got marquee stuff. I think the Matthew Stafford's elbow business is a little overplayed. I think you're being suckered a little bit.
Hollywood acting there.
I think Matthew Stafford will come out and he will be just fine.
Lights out.
As far as Buffalo, obviously, I mean Josh Allen. I mean, what can you say? I worry about him taking those kinds of licks that he's seen. I mean, he's a big, strong human being.
He's a strapping young lad.
But look at like people like Derrick Henry. He's beat down. You can't take those licks from 300-pound men who want to rip your limbs off.
Or Zeke Elliott, likewise. Yep.
I mean, you just can't. Your body's not made to take that. But defense, I got to give it to LA, I believe, just by a hair in the defensive backfield. Defensive line, obviously, you got Aaron Donald. So I give them a little edge on defense. But I do think it'll be a pounder for two teams. Buffalo is a pounding team no matter what. LA is a little bit, the Rams are a little bit finesse. But it's like two opposites of how you build a team: star power versus draft. So we'll see what works.
See, I look at it more like this. I look at it, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying I don't know who's right, but maybe neither of us are right. I look at it as like, obviously Stafford is great, but it's Sean McVay's system versus a generational talent in Josh Allen. So like what wins out? This scheme that since Sean McVay has been there has been at a high level. Even with Jared Goff, it played at a high level. Obviously, it hit another level with Stafford because you upgraded at that position. But Josh Allen, so much of that offense to be fair to Jay Boy's point is like, when you look at if he gets injured, that's the thing is Buffalo doesn't have a scheme where I think it keeps on going. Like it goes to dust instantaneously. So it'll be fascinating. It's almost man versus machine. Like which one will win?
I don't know. Of the network stars or something.
Yeah, and just even like their best running back is Josh Allen. So it's not that their running backs are bad, but just Josh Allen's the best. So I don't know. It's it'll be intriguing in terms of like just matchup.
Okay, so. I want to touch on something, Lugs, you brought it up. Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky, both played well. Both are doing pretty well. What do you guys take? I thought all along Kenny was going to be the guy, but I don't know. Mitch might have a shot.
I think Mitch will be the starter in the first game, but if there's any moment where he doesn't look on top of his form, Kenny Pickett is a gamer. Yeah, he doesn't play well in practice, but I watched a couple of the Pittsburgh games. He is the quarterback of the future. They should just do it. I feel for Mitch Trubisky. He's another one like Tyrod Taylor. It just didn't fall his way. I think he's an outstanding backup who can come in and salvage a game for you if you need to. But I think Kenny Pickett is the future, and I think Tomlin knows that. Tomlin obviously loves defensive players, and he should. Of course, they've had some just crazy defensive players. Although T.J. Watt got a little banged up there, and a couple of other their defensive guys. But anyway, I would say by the third or fourth game in the season, Pickett will be your starting quarterback.
Wild prediction, Rookie of the Year. Offensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Kenny Pickett? Could happen? Just tossing it out there.
I believe early on he is the second overall current Vegas pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
See, the wise guys know what they're talking about.
Yeah. And again, you want to know who number one is?
Sure.
Same team, George Pickens, wide receiver.
Man. See,
so,
they're stacked. Yeah. They're stacked.
So yeah.
So George Pickens worries me a little bit. I mean, he's this magnificent athlete, but off the field, man, the guy has a reputation for total crazy.
But even let's even buy into that. I'm not going to completely buy into that. I'm not saying there isn't some smoke there. Obviously, I think that you are right. There is some reason he fell in regards to it was beyond his injury. That being said, did he not go to the right spot? Because Antonio Brown didn't really go off the rails till he left. I mean, It started to bubble up at the end of the Steelers, but he didn't go off the rails. Le'Veon Bell didn't go off the rails till he essentially left the Steelers. So, like, Tomlin knows how to get guys maybe who aren't the easiest to play with. He gets them to buy in to the. And you know what? I looked at our predictions. I know it was like we did AFC North, and I think on July the 5th. I had them going 9-8. After watching the preseason, I'm kind of sweating saying the Steelers go 9-8 because here's the thing is like going back to what J-Boy said. Trubisky looked good. Obviously, Pickett looked good. Even Mason Rudolph looked good. I look at it that, and I know they're playing a bunch of backups, but when I see that is like they obviously have some good skill talent. Yep. Obviously, it feels like the scheme is working for the players on the field. Yep. So that means I think at bare minimum, the offense is probably going to be average. I'm not going to say it's going to be a top 10 offense. And obviously that defense is going to be good. We're talking about a possibly 10-11 win team now. So it's like, I don't know.
Might be the surprise team of the AFC. All right, 42 past the hour, guys. Anything else to bring tonight?
Let me sort of uplift us a little bit here.
Okay, Reverend, go ahead.
A little bit of class. On this day in 12 CE, the Roman Emperor Caligula was born. His brief reign from 37 to 42 CE was marked by unpredictable and tyrannical behavior, and in true Roman fashion, ended with his murder. So that's your, a bit of
history of yesteryear.
Yeah, masterpiece theater.
Wow. See, I was just going to mention that rest in peace, Lenny Dawson. Man, I wasn't going. Caligula. So you threw me off on that one. Super Bowl champion and star of the Kansas City Chiefs, Len Dawson, died at age 87, long after 12 BC, I believe, by the way.
What's really sad to me about that is he had to work sports for one of the Kansas City TV stations to make ends meet. So he would have to go from practice to do the 6 o'clock news, sports, and the 10 o'clock, and then come back in the next morning and play football. That's just crazy to me.
Wow, that is crazy. I'm going to stick with J-Boy where it's actually positive.
Thank you. One last note, please.
My last note is Brian Robinson. He was a running back for the Washington Cobra Commanders, and through preseason, talking about guys who look good in preseason, it looks like he probably stole the starting job from Antonio Gibson. Unfortunately, a few days ago, he was shot twice in the lower body on attempted murder. But luckily, the surgery went well. And it looks like, not only is he healthy, but it looks like he'll have a good shot at actually playing this year. So congratulations, Brian Robinson. Get well soon, and hopefully you get to suit up soon.
All right, that'll bring to a close another episode of Sports and Other Stuff brought to you in part by